Captain Elias Rain was a skilled human pilot. He'd flown across many galaxies and visited many strange planets. But he never expected to crash on a planet that didn't even appear on the maps. The name of the planet was later shown on his damaged computer, Zev Ra-9. It happened suddenly. His ship was passing through a deep hyperspace tunnel when a storm of strange energy waves hit it. Lights blinked, systems failed, and Elias had no control. He struggled to keep the ship stable. Sparks flew from the control panel. The last thing he saw was a forest-covered planet spinning on his screen. Then everything went dark. When he woke up, the ship was broken. Trees had smashed into the sides, and smoke filled the air. Elias coughed and pushed open the emergency hatch. He climbed out and looked around. Tall purple trees rose into the mist. Strange blue plants grew everywhere. Birds with 4 wings flew high above. The sky had 2 suns. It was beautiful, but dangerous too. He couldn't call for help. The communication system was completely destroyed. "I need parts," he muttered. In shelter. Elias grabbed his emergency bag, put on his lightweight armor, and walked into the forest. After hours of walking, Elias saw something strange, a metal structure hidden behind thick vines. It didn't look human. It was curved and silver almost, like a shell. Carefully, he moved closer. The scanner on the door beeped as he approached. Then, to his surprise, the door opened slowly with a soft hiss. Inside was clean and bright. Machines hummed quietly. Screens glowed with unknown symbols. He stepped in carefully. "Hello?" called. From the far end a figure appeared. It was a woman, but not human. Her skin was light blue, her hair long and silver, and her eyes were bright green with glowing lines. She looked calm and curious. "I did not expect a visitor," she said softly. Elias raised his hands peacefully. "My ship crashed. I'm not here to cause harm, just looking for help." The alien woman looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "You are human, strange. I am Vera of the Miari." "I'm Elias," he said. "Captain Elias Rain." Vera walked over to a control panel and pressed some buttons. A soft voice spoke from a speaker, repeating her words in English. Now, Elias could understand better. "You may stay," Vera said. "This outpost has air, food, and tools, but there are rules. You may not enter the locked room at the end of the hall." "That room is private." Elias nodded. "Understood." The next few days, Elias worked on repairing a small part of his ship. Vera let him use her tools and gave him food packs and clean water. She never asked many questions, and she never left the outpost for long. At night, she would disappear. Behind the locked metal door at the back, Elias became curious. Why did she live here all alone? Why did she have a locked room? And what was that soft, glowing light that sometimes came out from under the door? One evening, Elias walked past the door and placed his ear against it. He heard soft humming like a machine running. Then, for just a second, he thought he heard a whisper, almost like a voice calling his name. ... Elias. He stepped back quickly. "No," he said, "I must be tired." But that night, he couldn't sleep. The next day, Vera worked silently as usual, checking her equipment and adding data to her holographic console. Elias pretended to focus on fixing a damaged circuit from his ship, but his eyes kept drifting toward the locked room. "Why are you here alone?" he asked, trying to sound casual. Vera paused. "This place is far from my people. I watch over it. That is all. In the room. It is not for you." There was no anger in her voice, but something else. Sadness, maybe. Elias didn't push further. The mystery stayed in his mind. That evening, Vera left to collect energy crystals from a nearby valley. She said she would return in 2 hours. Elias stood in the hallway, staring at the locked door. This might be the only chance, he whispered to himself. He looked around. Then he pulled out a small device from his toolkit, a signal reader. Slowly, he ran it along the door panel. Strange symbols lit up. Machine translated them. Most were unreadable, but one message appeared. DNA lock. Mayari human access enabled. Elias blinked. Human. That's impossible. He touched the pad. The door unlocked with a soft click. The door slid open slowly, and a gentle white light filled the hallway. Leah stepped in. Inside the room was peaceful. Soft lights floated in the air. Strange plants grew in silver pots. There was a large glowing table in the center. Above it floated a transparent chamber filled with gentle blue mist. Elias walked closer. Inside the chamber, something was floating. Small, humanoid figure, young, peaceful, sleeping. Its skin was a pale mix of blue and beige. It had soft silver hair. Glowing symbols shimmered on its forehead. Its face looked almost human. Elias stared in shock. What is this? Then suddenly, the being in the chamber opened its eyes. They were green. Just like Vira's, the being looked straight at Elias and whispered one word in a soft voice. Elias. Elias stood frozen in the glowing room. The small being inside. The chamber had just spoken his name. Its voice was soft, almost like a whisper in the wind. He couldn't believe it. How? How do you know me? He asked, his voice shaking. The childlike being didn't reply again. Its eyes slowly closed, and it returned to peaceful sleep. The mist inside the chamber swirled gently around it. Elias stared for a long time, trying to understand what he had just seen. The being was not fully human, but not fully alien either. It was something between. Something new. He stepped back and looked around the room. On one of the walls, he saw a strange device. A crystal-shaped console hovered in the air, projecting soft lights and floating symbols. He touched the screen. Gently, the symbols changed, and suddenly, it began to translate into English. Hybrid Protection Protocol. Sequence locked. Below that message, he saw a diagram. It showed 2 DNA strands. One clearly belonged to a Mayari. The other matched human DNA. Elias's breath caught in his throat. This child is part human? He scrolled down. The system showed research files, hidden data logs, and something that looked like a medical report. One line stood out. Subject origin. Vera Mayari plus Elias Rain, human. Elias took a step back. Ah! That can't be, he whispered. I never... Before he could finish the thought, the door behind him suddenly opened with a sharp hiss. Vera stood in the doorway, her face calm, but her eyes filled with deep sadness. You were not supposed to see this, she said quietly. Elias turned toward, her guilt and confusion mixing in his mind. What is going on, Vera? What is this place? Who is that child? Vera entered the room and walked to the chamber. She placed her hand gently on the glass. She is named Leora, Vera said. And she is not from this time. She is from the future. Elias stared in shock. The future? Vera nodded. Yes. I came from many years ahead. In that time, humans and Mayari become enemies. War breaks out, many lives are lost. But before the war started, something beautiful happened. A child was born, one with the heart of a human and the mind of a Mayari. A child who could change the future. Elias looked again at the chamber. Leora looked peaceful, unaware of the great truth that surrounded her. Why bring her here? He asked. Vera sighed. Because the Mayari Council feared her. They believed she would grow too powerful. They banned her existence. I could not allow that. So I stole the last working time capsule and came to this place before the war began. Elias stepped closer. And me? Why am I here? Why was my name in the file? Vera looked at him. Her eyes were calm but filled with emotion. Gus. In the future, Elias. You are her father. Elias felt his knees weaken. He sat on the nearby bench, trying to understand. But I've never met you before. Not until this crash. In this time, yes, Vera said, but in the future we fought side by side. We both wanted peace. That bond grew. And Leora was born from that hope. Elias looked at Leora again. Small smile came to his face. She said my name. Vera nodded.
Ace.
Her mind is powerful. Even in sleep, she can feel those close to her. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Elias asked, "Why did you keep this from me?" Vera looked away, because I didn't want to change the timeline too early. If the council finds out she is here, they will come. I needed to protect her. Until the time is right, Elias stood up. But now they might know. My crash wasn't normal. Someone could have tracked my ship. Vira's eyes widened slightly. That is true. The council watches space closely. If they saw your arrival, they may come. The two of them left the chamber room and returned to the main hall of the outpost. Vera began scanning the sky using a floating device. A red light flashed. They found us, she said. Elias walked over. How much time? 2 days at most, Vera said. They will come with enforcers. They won't talk. They will take. Leora worse. We won't let that happen, Elias said firmly. Vera looked at him with surprise. You believe me? Elias nodded. I don't understand everything yet. I know one thing. That child is important. If she can bring peace between our kinds, I'll protect her. I promise. Vera's voice was soft.
Alice, thank you.
That night, Elias couldn't sleep again. Sat near the window of the outpost, looking at the stars. So many thoughts filled his mind. A child. From the future. His child. He had always believed in peace, even when many humans prepared for war. Maybe now he knew why. Deep inside, he had always carried a purpose he didn't understand until now. He heard soft steps behind him. Vera sat beside him. She looked at the stars too. Leora dreams often, she said. She sees both light and shadow, but she always smiles in her dreams. She believes good things will come. Elias smiled. Let's make sure she's right. Vera looked at him. We will need a plan. The council will not stop. It may bring strong warriors. Then we'll be ready, Elias said. The stars shone brighter that night, as if listening far above in the cold sky. A small Miari ship entered orbit. Silent. Watching, the countdown had begun. The next morning on Zevernine was quiet. Too quiet. The purple skies stretched over the forest, and strange birds circled above, but Elias could feel a change in the air. Something was coming. Vera was already awake. She stood at the control panel. In the center of the outpost, her hands moving quickly across the glowing symbols. Her face was calm, but Elias could see the worry in her eyes. They're in orbit, she said as Elias walked in. The council's ship arrived last night. They're scanning the surface. Soon they will find us. Elias nodded.
Then we
don't have much time. Vera looked at him. I've started building a cloaking field to hide the outpost, but it won't last forever. We need more than hiding, Elias said. We need to prepare for what comes next. While Vera worked on defenses, Elias explored the outpost, looking for anything useful. He returned to the locked room, now open, and studied the technology. Inside, the room didn't just protect Leora. It was full of secrets. He noticed a small platform in one corner that he hadn't seen before. A dull blue light blinked on its surface. When he stepped near, it activated, and a hologram appeared. In front of him, a face showed up on the screen. It was his own, but older, with a beard and tired eyes. Elias Rain, the voice said. If you are watching this, it means the past has been touched. Elias leaned closer. The message was clear, even through the soft hum of the machine. You are part of something much bigger than you know. In the future, you helped create peace. Leora was the bridge between our two kinds, but that peace is fragile. Enemies feared her, and they tried to erase her from time. Vera gave up everything. To protect her, the hologram paused, then looked directly into Ilias's eyes. Protect them, no matter what. The message ended and the light faded. Ilias sat down in silence. He felt a strange mix of emotions, confusion, fear, but also pride. This was real. This wasn't just an accident. It was meant to be here. He stood up and walked to the chamber where Leora still rested. Her small face looked peaceful. I don't know what the future brings, he whispered, but I'll do my part. Just. Then Vera called him from the control room. They found us, she said. A scout ship is coming. We have maybe 1 hour, Elias joined her. On the main screen, a small dot blinked red. The Miari scout ship was fast and well armed. It would land soon. We need to delay them, Elias said. Vera nodded. I have something that might help. She led him to a storage room in the lower level of the outpost. There, covered with cloth, stood a human defense drone, a model from Earth, but modified with Miari tech. It was about Elias's height, with strong arms and tracking sensors. I found this years ago, Vera said. I upgraded it in secret. It can be controlled manually or by voice. Elias smiled. This is perfect. They activated the drone and ran a quick systems check. It powered up, its eyes glowing with blue light, responded to Ilias's commands instantly. Just then the alert system beeped. Scout ship had landed. There outside, Vera said. Ilias looked at her. We stand together. The doors of the outpost were locked. Vera activated the cloaking field, making the walls almost invisible to sensors. But the field could only last 30 minutes. Outside, footsteps could be heard. The sound of Miari boots touching soft ground. Enforcers had arrived. A voice echoed through the outer speaker. Calm, cold. This is Enforcer Talum of the Miari Council. You are holding forbidden life. Surrender the hybrid now. Byra did not answer. She looked at Elias, and they both knew what this meant. The drone moved to position, ready to defend. Elias walked to the speaker and replied, This is Captain Elias Rain of Earth. The child is under my protection. You will not take her. There was silence for a moment. Then the sound of tools and scanners began. They were trying to breach the door. Inside the chamber, Leora's eyes opened slowly. Her small hand touched the glass, and a soft glow came from her skin. Vera noticed it and smiled. She senses danger, Vera said. She's aware now. Outpost shook as the enforcers used a pulse hammer to weaken the door. Elias stood beside the drone. Ready. Vera touched a control pad. If they breach the main door, we fall back to the inner room. The defense system is stronger there. The door finally gave a loud hiss and began to open. Elias took a deep breath. Let's do this. As the door opened, the drone stepped forward and released a blinding flash of light. Enforcers shouted, confused for a moment. Elias moved quickly, using a stun blaster from the storage. He didn't aim too harmily to slow them down. The enforcers, tall and sharp-eyed, moved like shadows. One of them tried to rush forward, but Vera blocked his path with a force shield. She moved like water, fast and graceful. We must protect the child, one enforcer shouted. No, Vera said firmly. You must open your eyes. This child brings peace, not war. But they didn't listen. Their mission was clear. Elias and Vera fell back to the locked room, sealing it behind them. The drone stood guard outside, buying them time. Inside, Leora sat up inside her chamber. Her eyes were glowing now. Her hand touched the glass again, and the symbols on the wall changed. Light spun around her, and the room filled with warm energy. She's activating something, Elias said, eyes wide. Vera smiled, even through the tension. She's choosing to help. The outpost shook again. Sparks flew from the walls. The enforcers were trying to break through the second door. But before they could, a strong pulse of light burst from the chamber. It passed through the walls. Through the machines, through everyone. The enforcers outside paused, their eyes widened. One by one, they slowly dropped their weapons. The light didn't hurt them. Instead, it calmed them. Leora's voice, clear and kind, echoed in the room. There is no need for fear. I am not your enemy. The battle had stopped, but the war was not over. Gentle silence filled the outpost, a glowing light from Leora's chamber faded slowly, but the calm it brought still remained. Outside the room, the Miari enforcers stood frozen, their faces full of confusion. Their weapons were lowered, their movements stopped. Inside, Elias and Vera stared at the chamber, stunned. The child's Leora was now fully awake, sitting quietly behind the transparent glass. Her green eyes sparkled, and her hands glowed softly. The soft voice they had just heard still echoed in the air. She spoke to all of them, Elias whispered. Not just us. Vera nodded. Yes, she didn't use sound. She spoke. Mind to mind. Miari call it soul speak. Elias looked at Vera, but humans can't do that. Vera smiled faintly. But she's not only human, she is both. That's why she is special. Outside the sealed door, Enforcer Talum looked at his team. None of them moved. One younger enforcer, Kale, slowly removed his helmet. I felt peace, Kale said, like a memory I never had. Talum frowned. He was a loyal Miari soldier. His duty was to obey the council. But now his heart felt uncertain. Was it a trick? He asked. No. Another whispered. It was real. They didn't open fire, didn't call for backup. They just waited. Inside the outpost, Leora looked at Vera and Elias. Her voice was soft, but clear. I am ready now. Vera opened the chamber. The glass slid open smoothly, and Leora stepped out. She looked like a child, but there was wisdom. In her eyes, Elias knelt beside her. Are you okay? She nodded. I've rested long, but time is short. What do you mean? Elias asked. Leora looked at both of them. Remember now, the future, the war, the fear. Well, the reason I had to come back. Elias stood slowly. Tell us. Leora walked to the center of the room. With a wave of her hand, a projection appeared in the air-bright images from the future. Cities burning, human ships fighting Miari fleets, worlds torn apart by war. But in the middle of it all, a younger Vera and Elias stood together. They were holding hands, standing between two armies. Behind them, Leora glowed with power. This is what will happen, Leora said, unless we change the path. Vera looked at the vision, her face calm but serious. The war hasn't started yet, but it will. Elias stepped forward. What caused it? Leora closed the vision. Fear, misunderstanding. Both sides believed lies. Miari thought humans were greedy. Humans thought Miari wanted control. No one trusted anyone. I was born in secret. But when the council found out, they saw me as a danger, not a hope. She looked at Elias. They tried to erase me. Vera placed a hand on Leora's shoulder. But we brought you here. We gave you a second chance. Leora nodded. Yes, and I must use it now. She walked to the sealed door and touched the control pad. Slowly, it opened. Outside, the enforcers stood waiting. They raised their weapons for a moment, but Leora stepped out without fear. Enforcer Talum stared at her. You are forbidden, Leora. Shook her head gently. I am only a child. I am not forbidden. I am alive. Like you. The enforcers didn't know what to do. Kale, the younger one, stepped forward. Why do you speak to us this way? Because I see what you hide, Leora said kindly. You are afraid of the unknown. But I am not unknown. I am you, and I am him. She pointed to Vera, and then to Elias. I am both. I am future and present, and I am hope. There was silence. Then to everyone's surprise, Enforcer Kale bent down on one knee. I believe her. Talum's face showed conflict. He looked at the other enforcers. One by one, they also lowered their weapons. We were sent to destroy Talum, said slowly. But now I'm not sure. Leah stepped beside Leora. Let us talk. You don't have to be our enemy. Talum looked at Elias, then at Vera, and finally at Leora. The council won't stop. Even if we believe you, others won't. They'll send more ships. Bigger ones. Then we must prepare, Vera said. Back inside, Vera activated the long-range scanner. A signal blinked on the screen. A council warship had entered the system. They know we're here, she said, and they're coming. Elias looked at Leora. Can you stop them? She shook her head. I am not ready yet. I'm still growing. My mind is strong, but my power needs time. Then we must leave, Vera said. Elias turned to her. Where will we go? There's a hidden system, Vera replied. Far from Miari space. I marked it on your ship's star map. If we reach it, We can hide there until Leora is ready. Elias nodded. Then let's move. Enforcers helped pack supplies. Even Talim offered help. They weren't enemies anymore. They were protectors now, but time was short. The warship would arrive in less than a day. Elias and Vera worked on repairing the jump drive in Ilias's broken ship. With parts from the outpost, they were able to fix it. It wasn't perfect, but it could fly again. Leora helped by using her mind to connect the systems. Her energy flowed into the machines. For a moment, the ship felt alive. Elias looked at her with wonder. "You're amazing," she smiled. "I'm just beginning." As the sun set on Zevernine, the ship was ready. Elias sat in the pilot's seat. Vera joined him, and Leora sat between them. The enforcers stood outside, watching the ship rise slowly into the sky. "You've changed us," Talim said over the radio. "Go. We'll do what we can to delay them." "Thank you," Elias replied. The stars sparkled above as the ship left. The planet's surface. Leora looked through the window. "This is where it begins." Elias smiled. "Not war, but peace." Vera nodded. "Let's find the future we dreamed of." The ship jumped into light, heading toward a new destiny, but far behind. In the dark sky, the Council's warship moved closer. The final test was still ahead. Elias's ship, now repaired and glowing with energy, moved quickly through the stars. Vera sat beside him, checking the scanners. Leora sat in the middle, her eyes wide as she watched space for the first time. Though young, she understood more than anyone else on board. "Course set," Elias said. "We're heading toward the hidden system you marked." Vera nodded. "It's a peaceful place, outside Council borders. If we make it there, we'll be safe for a while." But Leora looked back through the window. Her voice was quiet. "They're following us." Ilias's heart sank. "The warship?" "Yes," Vera confirmed. "It's gaining speed. Council ships are faster and stronger." Elias tightened his grip on the controls. "Then we need a plan." Far behind them, the massive Miari warship cut through the stars like a blade. Onboard Council Commander Saren stood at the center of the command bridge, staring at the tracking screen. His face was calm, but his eyes were full of determination. "The hybrid must not escape," he said to his officers. "She is a threat." "To the future," one officer asked. "What if she is not dangerous? What if the old stories were wrong?" Saren shook his head. "The Council has decided. This mission is not about belief. It is about control." He turned toward the front window, watching the bright trail left by Elias's ship. "Prepare to engage." Back on Elias's ship, alarms beeped softly. "They're locking onto our signal," Vera said. Leora closed her eyes. "They're scared, but they also feel something new." Elias looked at her. "Can you speak to them again?" "I can try," she said. She focused her mind. A soft light glowed from her forehead, and a wave of peaceful energy spread out. From her, but it didn't reach the warship. "There's a barrier," she said sadly. "They've blocked their minds." Elias frowned. "Then we can't talk. We'll have to survive." Vera guided him toward a nearby asteroid field. "If we fly into that," she said, "we can lose them in the rocks." Elias nodded. "Hold tight." The ship dove into the asteroid belt. Huge rocks spun slowly through space. Some were as big as buildings. Others were sharp and fast-moving. Elias dodged left, then right. Vera helped by tracking the safest path. Leora closed her eyes, feeling the movements before they happened. Behind them, the warship followed, but slower. The large ship couldn't. "Move as quickly through the field." "We've bought some time," Vera said. "But they won't stop." Elias checked the map. "If we take this path, we can reach an old satellite station. Maybe there's something useful there." Hour of flying through dangerous space, they reached the satellite station. It floated quietly near a small moon, broken and old. Lights flickered inside. "We'll dock," Elias said, "and look for tools or weapons." They landed the ship and entered the station. The air was thin, but still breathable. Dust floated in the silence. Old Earth logos were painted on the walls. "This place is from the early human age of space," Elias whispered. "A forgotten station." Vera walked toward a sealed door. I'm detecting power inside. Together, they opened the door and were surprised. Inside the room was an old Earth defense drone, much larger than the one from the outpost. It stood like a statue, dusty but still strong. On the side it read, Model X9, Human AI Battle Unit. Elias smiled. Now that's what we need. They spent hours connecting the drone to the ship's system. Vera used her knowledge to upgrade the controls with Myari tech. Leora added her energy to restore the battery faster. When the drone's eyes lit up, it spoke in a deep voice. Awaiting orders, Captain Elias Rain. Elias grinned. We're ready now. It's just in time to dot. The warship had found them again. Red lights flashed inside Elias's ship. They're here, Vera said, coming in fast. Elias activated the drone and powered the ship's shields. Let's show them humanity's spirit, he said. The battle began. The warship launched several small attack pods. They flew fast, firing light blasts toward the station. Ilias's ship shook as it was hit, but the shields held. Returning fire, Elias said, the drone launched energy blasts. Guided by both Myari sensors and human targeting systems, the enemy pods exploded one by one. Leora stood at the center of the ship, her hands glowing, helping to balance the ship's power. We're stronger together, she whispered. Vera nodded. Yes, this is what the Council fears, not war, but unity. The warship sent a final wave of fighters. But Elias was ready. He guided the ship in a quick loop and used the defense drone to strike from behind. The enemy pods were caught off, guarded and scattered. Then a message appeared on the screen from the warship. Cease fire. We will speak. Elias opened the channel. Commander Saren's face appeared. His voice was serious. You fight well, Captain, but you are only one ship, Elias replied, and yet you didn't win. Saren looked at Leora. She is powerful. Is peaceful, Elias said. Let her speak. Saren hesitated and nodded. It's very well. Leora stepped forward. She spoke gently but clearly. I am not your enemy. I carry both hearts, Myari and human. I carry the memory of war and the dream of peace. Why be afraid of what I could become when you could help me become something? Good. Saren was quiet. Finally, he said, I will report this. I will not attack again today. The screen turned off. The warship turned and slowly moved away. Inside the ship, everyone let out a breath of relief. We made it, Elias said. Leora looked at him. This was only the beginning, but it was an important step. Vera nodded. Now let's go to the hidden system. It's time to build a future. Elias looked out at the stars. Let's give her a world worth protecting. Stars shined brightly as Elias's ship moved far from the battlefield. The Myari warship had stopped its attack for now. Leora's message of peace had reached them, but Vera knew it wouldn't last. The Council didn't give up so easily. They'll return, Vera said, looking at the scanner. We bought time, not safety. Elias nodded. Then we should reach the hidden system before they change their mind? The hidden system was marked on Vera's private map. It was far from both Myari and human space. No patrols, no colonies. It's just silence. A perfect place to hide, she had said. But it wasn't just about hiding. It was also a place of creation, a location where they could begin building a future for Leora and for all those who believed in unity. As the ship glided through hyperspace, Leora sat quietly in the center of the command room. Her eyes were closed. Her small hands glowed with soft blue light. What is she doing? Elias whispered. Vera smiled. She's reading the threads of time. Time. Yes, Vera said. Leora's mind is not like ours. She can sense events past, present, and sometimes future. Elias watched her in silence. There was something calming about Leora. Even in danger, she brought peace. She was just a child, yet she carried the weight of something greater. Leora opened her eyes slowly. We're getting close. Elias checked the controls. Coordinates confirmed. We'll reach the rift in 10 minutes. The rift was not a place. It was a gateway, a tier in space that led to the hidden system. It had been created long ago by an ancient Maiari scientist who believed in peace and freedom. Only Vera had the access code. Soon, the ship exited hyperspace. And there it was, a swirling tunnel of blue and white light floating between two dark moons. It spun slowly, humming with strange energy. "That's it," Vera said. "The rift." Leah stared. "At it? It looks alive." "It almost is," Vera replied. "But it's unstable. We must act fast." Suddenly, the scanner beeped. Virus's face grew serious. "They're back." Elias looked at the screen. A Maiari warship had jumped back into the system this time, not alone. Second ship followed. Behind it, they didn't waste time, Elias said. "They must have sent backup," Vera replied. Leora stood. "They don't believe we'll go through the rift. They think it's too dangerous." Elias turned to Vera. "Can the ship make it through safely?" She hesitated. "Yes, but only if the energy remains stable. The rift won't stay open forever." "Then we go now," Elias said. The engines roared as Elias steered the ship toward the rift. The swirling light pulled at the hull. It felt like flying through water. Vera balanced the ship's systems while Leora kept her eyes closed, guiding them with her mind. But the warships followed. Bright red energy blasts shot through the space behind them. "Shields holding," Vera said, but her voice was tight. Not for long. A blast hit the side of the ship. Alarms rang. "Minor damage," Elias said, gripping the controls. "We can do this." The rift grew closer. Its light wrapped around them like waves. "Almost there," Leora whispered suddenly. The second warship changed direction. It flew upward and then came down fast, trying to block the rift. "They want to trap us," Vera said. "We can't let that happen," Elias replied. He pressed a special switch, the large battle drone. From earlier activated, its eyes glowed bright blue as it launched from the back of the ship. "Drone deployed," Elias said. "It's our turn now." The drone flew toward the second warship, firing blasts of energy. The enemy ship returned fire, but the drone moved quickly, dodging and striking. "They're distracted," Vera said. Now, Elias pushed the ship forward. The nose of the ship touched the edge of the rift. The blue energy began to wrap around them. But then the ship shook hard, hit on the left engine. Vera shouted. "We can still make it," Elias said. Leora stepped to the center of the ship. "Brighter than before?" "She's stabilizing it," Vera whispered in awe. Elias felt the ship lift smoothly again. The battle drone exploded in a flash of light, taking the second warship's weapons offline for a moment. The Maiari ship stopped firing, but Elias's ship had already disappeared into the rift. Inside the rift, it felt like flying through a dream. Stars, memories, and colors swirled around them. For a moment, Elias saw flashes of other times, people he hadn't met, worlds he hadn't seen. Vera held Leora's hand. "Stay with us," she said softly. "I'm here," Leora replied. After what felt like forever and yet only seconds, the ship burst out of the rift and entered a calm. A large green planet floated ahead, covered in forests, rivers. They landed on the green planet. The air was fresh. The skies were clear. Tall trees swayed gently in the wind. Together, they built a small base near a river. They used parts from the ship and tools from the storage room. For the first time in days, there was peace. Leora walked along the river, touching the flowers. Smiling at the birds. "She belongs here," Elias said. Vera stood beside him. "This world is quiet. She can grow here, learn, and become what she was meant to be." Elias nodded. "What about the council? Ever looked up at the sky?" "They will search, but they won't find us. Not yet." At night, they sat around a small fire. The stars above were bright and calm. Elias looked at Leora. "Do you think they'll ever understand?" One day, Leora said, "But not now," Vera added. "Until then, we protect this place. We protect her, and maybe." Her eyes glowed softly. "This is not the end," she said. "It's only the beginning." The green world stretched beneath them like a promise. Elias, Vera, and Leora stood on a hill overlooking the forests and rivers of their new home. The sun was rising, painting the sky with soft pink and orange light. "This is where it all begins," Vera said, her voice full of hope. Elias smiled, watching Leora run down the hill to the river. Her laughter was light and pure, a sound he had never heard in years. The child had brought something new. Just peace between two species, but a chance for something better. "Do you think they will find us?" Elias asked. Vera shook her head. "Not here. The planet is hidden by natural energy fields. The Council's technology can't reach this far." Leora came back, holding a small flower. She looked up at them, her eyes shining. "I want to learn," she said simply. Elias knelt beside her. "And we will teach you everything." The days passed quietly, filled with hard work and small joys. They built a home near the river, growing food and fixing their ship to send messages only to trusted friends far away. Vera worked to send secret signals to allies who believed in peace. Slowly messages came back, stories of others who wanted to stop the coming war. Elias trained the small defense drone, teaching it new ways to protect the base. He wanted to be ready if the Council ever found them. But Leora was growing faster than anyone expected. Her mind was sharp, her powers stronger. She could feel the forests, hear the river, and sense the stars. One evening, she stood beneath the sky and raised her hands. A soft glow spread from her fingertips, lighting the trees and flowers around her. It was not just power, it was life itself. Vera watched with tears in her eyes. "She is more than a child," Vera said softly. "She is the future." Elias placed a hand on Vera's shoulder. Months passed. News arrived from distant parts of the galaxy's small acts of peace, secret meetings, and hope growing quietly like a seed. One day, while scanning the sky, Elias saw a small ship approaching. "Visitors," he said cautiously. The ship landed near the base. A group of humans, and Miari stepped out. They looked tired but determined. Vera greeted them. The leader, a tall human woman named Commander Anna, stepped forward. "We received your signal," Anna said. "We believe in what you stand for. We want to help." Elias smiled. "Welcome." Together, they worked to build a new alliance. Humans in Miari, learning to trust again, sharing knowledge, stories, and dreams. Leora became a symbol, living bridge between two worlds. Her message was simple. Peace is possible if we choose it. But even as hope grew, the shadow of the Council remained. One night, a fleet of warships appeared in the distant sky. "They found us," Vera said. The Allies prepared to defend the planet. The small defense drones stood ready. Energy beams cut through the sky, with explosions, but the defenders fought with courage and heart. War's power healed the land and protected the people. In the end, the Council's ships retreated, unable to break the unity they faced. After the battle, peace talks began. Council realized that war was no longer the answer. Elias stood with Vera and Leora as new ambassadors for peace. Together, they helped rebuild trust between species. Leora, hidden in a locked room, became a leader who showed the galaxy that differences could be strengths. Years later, Elias looked up at the stars with Leora beside him. "Look how far we've come," he said. Leora smiled. "This is only the beginning." Vera joined them, and together they watched a new dawn rise bright and full of promise. The end.